As if Canada couldn't become an even less serious nation, they just decided to, well, at least they're pondering passing it through the several branches of Parliament, an idea to bring in and institute a universal basic income. Ugh, as if the descent into full-on communism hasn't been full speed ahead enough in the past 10 years. Might as well just throw a little bit of accelerant on that fire. Canada is considering a guaranteed universal basic income program. Now, this was floated back in mid-October of 2023, but there's been developments on this more recently. Canada has taken its baby steps towards a basic income program meant to broadly address poverty. Oh my God, even before we get into any specific numbers, this whole idea of giving people a bunch of free money will just artificially raise the price, the cost of living. Okay, if you give everybody $1,700, $2,000 a month, well, guess what? The cost of living, the cost of goods just went up. $1,700 to $2,000 a month. You're not doing anything, man, because it's just like you see with the whole minimum wage argument. Okay, $15. We need a living wage to do menial tasks. And then people eventually capitulated to that, and it was never enough. Now in California, you're seeing we need a $20 minimum wage. And, well, the people got what they want, and now you're seeing all of those menial, remedial jobs be outsourced to robots. Yeah, exactly. What do you think's going to happen here? Okay, the government's just going to give you free money without any strings attached? Come on, man. We're not that stupid. The Senate's National Finance Committee began looking into Senator Kim Pate's, of course, proposal for a national framework for the Universal Basic Income Program on October 17th. Since as far back as the 1970s, Canada has flirted with the idea of basic income program. Tell me the Liberals are losing popularity without having to tell me the Liberals are losing popularity. Push for basic income program gained more momentum during and after the pandemic. Yes, of course, when you shut down everybody's ability to conventionally earn a living and then just simply put them on the government teat, imagine that they become accustomed to that and then they just want it. Wow, imagine that. There's just a bigger growth. There's just a bigger demand for it. I wonder why. Which paid out $2,000 a month to billions of Canadians. I was not fortunate enough to get that, or I didn't even bother applying because, well, I don't like communism, raised the possibility of a permanent income program. Now there's a movement within the Senate on studying basic income as a real possibility. Here's a rundown of what guaranteed basic income is and how it works and what it might look like. But like I said, we have an update on this, and this came out right towards the end of 2023, so I guess it holds a little bit of water now. Concept of providing all Canadians with free money to alleviate poverty has been gaining traction on social media as a universal basic income bill worked its way through Parliament. Bill S-233, which would require development of a national framework for the guaranteed livable basic income, is currently being reviewed by the Standing Senate Committee on National Finance. Fantastic. How are you even going to begin to afford to pay this out? Okay, $2,000. I've seen 2,000, then I've also seen 1,700, 1,500 as well. But regardless, how many people are you going to give that to, and how are you going to come up with the billions of dollars per month in order to shill that out? And then, of course, Justin Trudeau's wonderful plan of trying to bring in 500,000 unskilled migrants every year. How's this going to be sustainable? All right, just like every other communist, they'll just kick the can down the road. That's just for somebody else to figure out. Put another committee together in order to figure out how we're going to unfuck ourselves as a nation. It is rare for private members' bills to become legislation unless they get the backing of government. The first place in Canada to engage in the concept of UBI was Manitoba, and guess what? It failed. The provincial government, in conjunction with Ottawa, launched a Mincome project that provided payouts to low-income households between 1974 and 1979, and this was in Manitoba, one of the least populated provinces in the Union, and at that time they were at least turning a bit of a profit with natural resource development. But guess what? Old Trudeau Sr. came in and kneecapped that industry in the 80s, so yeah. Is it starting to make sense? History really does repeat itself when idiots don't learn from their mistakes. Fuck Trudeau. In parts of Winnipeg and rural community of Dauphin in western Manitoba, the administrator said that the experiment led to a decline in hospitalizations, but the program was ended after the government cited issues with unsustainable rising costs. Yeah, imagine that. You give people a bunch of money. Well, who's going to pay for that? The people. But the people aren't working, so you're just going to end up taxing the money that you're giving them, getting back a 30% recuperation cost, so taking $600 for every $2,000 that you give out. Fantastic math that's right there. That should last for literal weeks. Then in 2017, here was another stupid idea. I remember this one. The province of Ontario, under the then Liberal Premier Kathleen Wynne, of course, rolled out a basic income pilot for the cities of Thunder Bay, Hamilton, and Lindsay. Yeah, Hamilton, steel capital of Canada, and Thunder Bay, the hard drug capital of Canada, and Lindsay, I don't know enough about that. I don't know her. The 3-year study aimed to give 4,000 low-income single Ontarians up to $16,989 annually over the study period, less 50% of any earned income, but it was shut down after the Progressive Conservatives formed government in 2018. Yeah, we can't pay for this stuff. What are you goofy liberals doing? Well, I don't know, giving out free money in order to buy votes? The research project had an extraordinary cost for Ontario taxpayers, which, according to the Ministry of Finance, would require increasing the HST from 13. So this is your harmonized sales tax, by the way. So it would have had a 5% GST and a provincial state tax of 8%, moving it up to 20% tax on every single good sold. It's unsustainable. That's ridiculous if implemented across the province. Quebec launched a basic, of course, the fucking French giving out free money. Income that came into effect January 1st, 2023, providing $1,211 a month or $14,532 per year to those with severely limited capacity for employment. So yes, just basically being French. In November, Newfoundland and Labrador, introduced a similar program for residents aged 60 to 64. Yeah, that would normally be your retirement plan, but oopsie daisy, all of that money, we're just playing this very complex shell game with it. Don't worry about it. It's part of a new poverty reduction plan. Exactly. Whenever the government gets involved in a project, it's normally known to get finished and solved, right? Which also increased the province's child benefit program by 300%. Interesting. So you're giving geriatrics, 60 to 64-year-olds basic income, and then you're increasing their child benefit? Something doesn't quite work. Anyways, the federal government already has a UBI-like scheme in place with a guaranteed income supplement providing non-taxable monthly benefits for Canadians 65 and over who collect old age security benefits and who fall below maximum income thresholds. The people that the country should be looking after raping and pillaging them for months or for years and years on end. Taking care of them later in life, that's, I think, a laudable cause, but all right. At the federal level, delegates of the Liberal Party of Canada in April of 2021 Policy Convention endorsed the establishment of Universal Basic Income Plan for Canada, with 77% of delegates voting in favor of a resolution. When it comes to technicalities, a UBI scheme means everyone would receive the same monthly payment, while higher income earners who didn't need the extra money would have it taken back and identified in the tax system at the end of each year. Oh, great. Creating another middleman, some make work projects from the federal government. It's not like they're known to do that. Guaranteed basic income scheme, on the other hand, means only low-income families and individuals would receive payments. When asked about the policy vote, Prime Minister told reporters that many ideas and initiatives brought up at the Liberal Party conventions, such as same-sex marriage, eventually went and became government policy. I don't really care what the NDP and the Liberal Party have to say about this stuff. Just going, it's a great idea. But I think what's really important is what the opposition has to say about this. According to April 2021 report from Parliamentary Budget Officer Yves Giroux, a national GBI program would initially cost $85 billion a year, which is more than the GDP of the entire country. By the way, $93 billion in 25 and 26. Fantastic. The report used the parameters set out by Ontario's Basic Income Pilot Project, which gave single persons and couples annual incomes of up to $16,989 and up to $24,027 respectively, as well as additionally up to $6,000 per year for people with disabilities. Based on the models used, the PBO's report said a GBI program would reduce poverty rates in Canada. Holy shit, what a stupid conclusion to come to. The incentive and disincentive aspects of the scheme used to model were based on academic literature. Yes, of course, the fucking Communist Manifesto. However, he said that implementing such a scheme would come at some cost to the middle class. Yeah, exactly. We're just going to give you free money, but not enough that you could like actually go out there and make, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about coming to any of those conclusions. As well, conservative senators have been opposing the proposed bill during deliberations in the Senate. Okay. Common sense dictates that giving people large unconditional cash payments is bound to make work less attractive and rewarding, not least because now recipients are only working for the difference between their basic income, entitlement, and wages. Conservative Senator Michael McDonald said during the second reading of Bill S-233 on April 18th of 2023. But then you go ahead and you talk to the Deputy Shadow Prime Minister, Melissa Lantsman, who is just gung-ho for universal basic income, meaning, once again, that just provides proof that Canada doesn't have an opposition party. They have a complicit party. I hate all of the government in Canada, and the sooner I can get out of here, the goddamn better. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.